I'm very excited to welcome you all to Yoko Connect number 3. Thank you so much all for coming here. We have an incredible few days lined up. People came from all over the world. We have people from Asia, from North America, South America, Europe, Middle East. And I can tell you from my own experience, the last few Yoko Connect, so we had 2 previously. Okay, who's in Costa Rica for the first time ever? Yay, welcome to paradise. Okay, who's at Yoko Connect for the first time? Amazing. Second time? Okay. Third time? Yeah. So, Yoko Connect always exceeded my expectations, and we've every time gotten better at it. I think we've really, the last one was so incredible, and I'm very excited we get to share these moments together again. The last one, so many lasting connections were made, and this is kind of how I want to prime you going into this. Yoko Connect, the clues in the name, connect, right? So, if you ask anyone at the end of their lives, what's most meaningful to them? What do they look back at? It's not the money they made, it's not the houses they bought, the cars, it's the connections they made, right? And so we really just kind of give people space and curate an event for people to connect. And so I would encourage you to try and take full advantage, go up to the people you don't know, which is probably the majority, try and maybe speak to most of them at some point, and it's really remarkable what can happen. It's just the people make it what it is. And the last event was so special because so much came out of it. I mean, the amount, I knew people who raised money for their private companies, who, went on a trip together. I mean, Petra, who's going to do aerial yoga, I met her in New York, and she took me to a storytelling competition. It was amazing. And so it's really about the connection. So I encourage you to take full advantage and to look around you and get to know everyone, because they're really incredible people in the room. So we have an exciting program starting every morning with an activity, yoga, Pilates, speakers, afternoon activities, speakers again in the evening, live music, incredible food from Dori, who's, in my opinion, the best chef in Costa Rica. I'm very excited already. Yes. So I'm very excited everyone came here. Some basic logistics. Okay, bathrooms, first things first. The bathrooms are at the back of this house. So if you go to the gym and take a right around the corner, smoking is not allowed, only in the smoking area, which is around the bathroom. All substances included. Okay, so over here we have a sauna, ice bath, jacuzzi. They are open and running all the time. At any point, feel free to come and use them, enjoy them with a view of the ocean. It's open all the time. Also, if at any point you feel uncomfortable, you want to give us feedback, anything you didn't like or you would like to see change, please come to any of us, any of the team members, and share it with them, and we'll make sure to take it into us and change things accordingly. Maybe let's all Yoko team raise our hands so we know who are people we can approach at any point. Oh yes, Dori. So this is the Yoko team who made all of this possible. Yes, exactly. Okay, so now I'm going to briefly introduce myself, Yoko, just to kind of level set, we all understand what it is. Then we have one other incredible speaker that I'm very excited to present after me. And then we have a delicious meal cooked for us, followed by some live music. So, with no further ado, let's get started. Okay, Yoko Village. So Yoko Village was born around 3 years ago, and it was a crazy idea at the time. So I briefly want to mention, this is me, David, Dr. David Pervan from Germany, serial entrepreneur living in New York right now. And I met Liran through, so Liran's previous company was an impact immigration company that helps foreign entrepreneurs to get to the US. And so I was one of his clients. After my PhD, I started my first company, moved to the US, and got my visas through him. And so we met, and Liran ended up kind of burning out a little bit from doing the startup hustle in the US and moved to Costa Rica. And we stayed in touch, and I scheduled a call with him because I wanted to know what's been going on, what happened. And so it just so happened, okay, who here lives in the Bay Area? Do we have some Bay Area people? Okay, not many. Bay Area? Yeah. So it happened to be that we connected on what's now known as Orange Day, which was during COVID 2020. We woke up because of incredible wildfires. The sky was orange and like deadly to breathe. You could not go outside. And it really shook me deep down. Out of all the things we take for granted, air is the one we take for granted for most. I mean, we breathe when we sleep. And I was like, wow, this is crazy. This is also during COVID. And I was like, okay, something is going on. Like, what is happening here? And it just triggered this thought in me that the life a lot of us live is not really what we want, and it's not really sustainable. We're destroying our planet around us. We are riddled with pandemics, and so there could be something better. And I decided, and it was on this very day we spoke about Yoko, about the idea about maybe doing a crazy project here together. I just felt it. I saw it. I was like, I can see it. This feels like it's going to happen. And why was that? So at this point, I was a young entrepreneur. I'd never done any investments in my life. I was so sure that I wanted to make this happen, to become the seed investor, to kind of start the whole thing. I borrowed money from friends, from family. I didn't have an exit at this point. And I was like, I have a feeling it's going to happen. And that was the very beginning of Yoko. And what I saw at the time is still very much what I see now, which is that the life we live, the dream of like you go to college and you get a good job in the city, and then you move to the suburb with your partner and you buy a house and you have a dog and you have kids. To more and more people, this does not apply anymore. It's not what they want. We have increasing, just unconventional lives, and many people find themselves in big cities, working great jobs in New York and London, and feeling lonely, right? And not having community around them, what they want, what they really strive for. And so I was convinced that if we can create this type of community around us in a place where we live in harmony with nature, this will resonate with people, right? A place which is basically designed to enable self-fulfillment, where you live in peace, you have community around you that supports you, live in peace and nature in a beautiful place. And so this is kind of my own personal starting point of Yoko 3 years ago, which is kind of crazy. So what is our vision? I kind of said it all. It's a new way of life, right? Like, let's reimagine life and what it could be like and what we want it to be like. And basically living in peace with harmony in nature, living surrounded by people that are your chosen family, that support you, that enable you to do incredible things in life and become who you are. So that remains the vision. And so basically a quick kind of update on how it all unfolded. Our first location, Santa Teresa, arguably paradise on earth. Like I said, we are in one of the 5 blue zones where people get the oldest. There's clearly something very special about here. It's warm every day of the year. Very briefly, and I think this is also helpful for people to kind of just get an overview of where we're at. So the very first acquisition we ever made was 3 years ago and is Yoko North. And you can see it right there. Actually, we are not so far away from it. Ooh, is this gonna work? No, it's not okay. Okay. Anyway, we are. It's just down here, down the mountain. You can see it from if you stand over there. Yoko North in 3 years ago. Shortly after, we added to it Sangha. And tomorrow at 2 p.m., you're going to have the opportunity to visit both, which I strongly encourage you to do. Next, we made a much bigger acquisition, which is called Yoko South, which is a little bit further south from here, near the main road. And we added to it an area that we call slow living. So we very quickly became the biggest developers in the region with all of these acquisitions. And thanks to you who believe in the vision and who share the vision, like the one that I described. We put in infrastructure, we divided it into lots, we're getting permits. What a nightmare, but we're doing it. And basically, we started off with these renders that Serana and her team beautifully designed, and we were always dreaming and envisioning what it would be like to be in a house like this. And, more renders. And as of very recently, 2 of them actually exist and became reality. I get to... Yes, exactly. I get to stay in one of them during this conference, and it totally blew my mind. Like, every day I wake up, I'm just like, wow, it's reality. Like, we spoke about it for so long, for 3 years. It was renders, and now it's reality. And we have an awesome video that was taken a few days ago of the brand new houses. Yeah, this one is actually from, Tobias, my good friend, is going to talk about it at some point. This house is owned by a joint venture. So rather than one person owning an entire house, here we have, around 10 people who collectively own the house, which is, for me, very beautiful. It enables people to own houses who wouldn't be able to otherwise. And this is their house, this little group of investors who came together and share the dream and share the vision. So I strongly recommend you to come tomorrow at 2 p.m. to the Jews Hub workshop at Villa number 1 to actually see it in person. On to the next. Sangha. Sangha is right next to Yoko North. And Sangha was an addition because we wanted to essentially have more event spaces where people can come together, members of the community can host events, also people from the local community can host events. And so we made the Sangha acquisition. So the idea is to have a retreat space with glamping units, again, beautifully designed by Serana and her team, that can host more than 50 people with beautiful event spaces. So again, from rendering to reality, we went within a year and a half. So some of you are staying in those. I hope you like waking up in the jungle. So again, also I encourage you to check them out. They are, just an amazing, for me it's an amazing piece of architecture and what you can do with relatively little money, what kind of experience you can create, which is really about the nature, as much of Costa Rica is about. You just kind of let nature speak for itself and be exposed to it. So I'm going to also share with you 2 recent developments which are very exciting. One of them is that as of very recently, we had 3 incredible top-tier, world-class doctors joining our Sangha project. One of them is going to speak shortly after me, to not just have a retreat space, but also a clinic, which will be the first clinic, professional, high-quality clinic in the Santa Teresa area. There's no such thing right now. And we are very excited to partner with Jabaris, Adrian, and Carlo on this new endeavor. So the clinic, this is really like Santa Teresa where it is in its development. One of the reasons why we did this was, as I was kind of building on my vision and dream of what it could be like, I also noticed that myself and other people included maybe don't feel so comfortable bringing our parents here because the healthcare infrastructure is non-existent, right? So imagine people who are elderly, you want to be able to have emergency care accessible, right? You want to plan maybe for the worst case scenarios of what could happen. And there is no such case, right? There's no such thing. That's maybe also why you see the population of Santa Teresa being very young, but it is, as part of living here and building a community, I think it should be inclusive and include everyone. And that's really very much a necessity that Santa Teresa totally does not have. And so this inspired us to build this clinic. Here is kind of what it's going to look like. So we are expanding Santa Teresa, and again, beautiful renderings from Serrana, and soon they should be reality. So one very brief announcement on this one is we are constantly raising money for different types of projects we're doing, and currently we are raising a debt deal for this project. And so if that's interesting, I'm not going to go into the details of it, but if that's interesting to anyone who would like to explore investing, in this case in a debt deal, please come and talk to me at any point. I'm happy to share more about it. But this is really what makes it possible for us to do all of these incredible things. We did some debt deals in the past, and the majority of it came from Yoko members, from people who are building their houses with it. So they're kind of doubling down and helping us to build these incredible things. So we are going to complete the first phase, which includes a bunch of different facilities, a co-working space, restaurant as well, the retreat center, and we're very excited about that. So the second announcement, probably some of you have already heard it, and we're going to hear much more about it, but just to briefly touch on it, is this was image actually only was we have since today. We are expanding Yoko Village internationally. So we just confirmed our first location outside of Costa Rica, which is going to be in the Netherlands, to build communities like this around the world, because actually they make sense everywhere if you think about it. People all want kind of the same things, want community, want to live in harmony and peace, want to be able to support each other, be there for each other. And so this is the first of a much bigger strategy of becoming a global brand, right? And building villages all around the world, where the benefit to anyone who's in any of the Yoko villages is you can house swap, right? So you can spend your, well, let's say Northern Hemisphere winters in Costa Rica, and maybe you want to spend some summertime in Europe and in future locations that we will add. So this is very much part of our vision and roadmap, and I am excited that it's already coming through so fast. And so tomorrow morning at 7, so we have both of the Yoko Netherlands partners here, Ronit and Nia. And Ronit, yay! So Ronit will talk much more about it on Friday. Nia is also an incredible yoga and Pilates teacher that you get to experience tomorrow morning if you want to join the class with him. And that is, the team, of course. We have an incredible team who make all of this happen against the odds at basically most of the time. It is incredible what it takes and what has been, the personal, I have incredible respect for every single one on the team. I'm very thankful you're all part of this crazy vision and dream and idea that we're pursuing. Every single one here put in incredible personal just investment in many ways to make this happen. And so we are eternally grateful for every single one of you to help us make this reality and to be part of it, right? So we're all building this together. We're all going to be part of it in the future. We are building our future community. We're not building it for someone else. Every single person you see here is going to live in Yoko Village as well. And so with that concludes the Yoko Village update from my side.